Hello, my friends. I'm Dick Hellman, back again to you with another Middle East Security Alert. Today, I want to talk about these horrendous attacks that have come against Israel from the terrorists in the land. I'm using that word unabashedly, terrorists. These are not Palestine Liberation Organization, freedom fighters. These are terrorists who hate Israel and want to destroy Israel and won't even recognize Israel as a Jewish state. So today I'm calling out the leaders not only of Hamas, but also those of the PLO, of the Fatah party and the Palestinian Authority. And you know, the Russians have a saying that a fish rots from the head down. And so Mahmoud Abbas, Abu Mazen, who heads the Palestinian Authority, the PLO, and the Fatah party, although he hasn't had any recent democratic elections for any of those in recent years. He's just like the de facto appointed leader of the Palestinian Arab movement, although Hamas is growing in authority and may overthrow him. But anyway, he says in form he regrets the terrorist attacks against Jews in Jerusalem and around the country. But this is after he has consciously, and all of his people have consciously incited their people to rise up and to stage attacks on Jews in Jerusalem and throughout the country. And these attacks include the attack on Rabbi Glick, who was an American Israeli rabbi who supported the right of Jews to pray on the Temple Mount. And as Israelis were with me in Washington on Capitol Hill recently, I mentioned to one of them, you know, Christians can't pray on the Temple Mount as well either. The Arab Muslims, the Waqf, the Arab religious authority that runs the Temple Mount, because the Israelis have allowed them to, and the Palestinian Authority, and even the King of Jordan, do not want Jews to pray on the Temple Mount, although it's the holiest place in Judaism, and they don't want Christians to pray up there. And you know, we Christians like to pray a little wherever we go. But I told my friend from Israel that first, years ago, when I went with Pastor Wallace of our church at the time to the Temple Mount, and Wallace, as he always did, started a little homily, a little message about the Temple Mount, and was going to sing a song. Suddenly the guards from the Waqf, the Arab guards, ran over and said, shh, no praying up here, no praying. And then another time, more recently, I was going up to the Temple Mount, and as I often do, I was with a group. Again, this time I was leading the group, and I was with my guide. And as the border police guards that check you out before you can go up there to make sure you have no metal or weapons or anything that would cause a problem, saw that I had a little pocket Bible, they said I couldn't take that to the Temple Mount. And I was indignant. I said, what do you mean I can't take a pocket Bible to the Temple Mount? I'm not going to do anything with it. I know we can't have a Christian service or a prayer meeting up there. And he said, no, you must leave that here. I almost didn't get up on the Temple Mount. But Jacob, my guide, says, he's okay, we won't cause any problems, so they let me go up. But this is something that would never be permitted any place else. Think about it. The National Cathedral here in Washington, which is like the nation's church, at least politically, had a Muslim service there at noon a few weeks ago on a Friday. Would there ever be a Christian service in Saudi Arabia or in any other Islamic country? No. And certainly not in a mosque or in a Muslim holy place. And on the Temple Mount, the holiest place of Judaism, in the city that Israel has made free and safe for all, not only for Jews but for Christians and Muslims, the Muslim authorities that Israel unwisely let continue to run that place won't let Christians or Jews pray up there. These things ought not be. And in addition, it's time for us to fully support Israel, to support Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu, Defense Minister Buggy Ya'alon, and the other Israeli officials in cracking down on the Muslim terrorists. It's time for America, and particularly our State Department and our White House, to stop having a moral equivalence in which they say, oh yes, the Palestinian Arab terrorists shouldn't kill Jews in Jerusalem. But on the other hand, the Jews shouldn't build homes in Jerusalem. There should not be any kind of equivalence here, because there is no moral equivalence between building homes for a growing population for Jews, just as Muslims at 5 or 6 times the rate are building homes for their people in Jerusalem, throughout Judea and Samaria and other parts of Israel. There's no equivalence of that with terror, hatred, and war that is incited by the Palestinian authorities. So these are some things we're going to have the Congress address, if by all means possible, in this lame duck session of Congress, which is beginning again this week. And I want you to go to our website, www.cipaconline.org, cipaconline.org. Send your message to your senators and to your congressman or congresswoman and say, we want this language in the continuing resolution that must pass to continue funding of the U.S. government. And while you're there, renew your membership in CIPAC, or make a special one-time tax-deductible contribution to Merkel, the Middle East Research Center Limited, or start a monthly giving plan to help us pay the rent for these offices, to pay our hard workers, including my friend who is taping this today. And we've just got to not only pay the bills, but we've got to grow and expand, because we're taking a message to Capitol Hill that no one else has the courage, the wisdom, and the dedication to do. There, I've said it. Hate to brag about myself, but it's the truth. And the people with me know it, and the people who follow us know it. We have a singular, unique, and necessary message, not just for Israel, but for U.S. survival and defense. God bless you. Thanks again, and we'll talk again next week.